welcome back to the episode of We Are Again, or still in the chambers of, or Wormway, it's actually called. One of it is the Chamber of Justice, and the other one will be the Chamber of Insights behind that door. We got the Chamber of Justice already, just to recap for everyone who maybe has not watched the previous episode. You have to place the cell picture in here to get the in-betweeny option, right? To act more just, because it's a bit too much to execute him and maybe a bit too little to just let him go free. And you have to use some banishment spells in order to get rid of the judge. Look into your scroll catalog or something, and one of those will probably work. Alright, now let's see.
Don't waste a step.
A magical bridge. It's kind of nice that we can still just pass through it on top of that without any issues. It's pretty neat. So, what is this? Oh boy. Okay, so there are enemies. Okay. So, what's the idea behind it? Because they are enemies still. It's kind of weird. Good. So, let's just hope we don't have to fight them. There's some insight here. It could be that we have to either kill all of those or just one of them. The question is just who is the one that deserves it the most. Alright, so let's look in the pile of books. Oh, okay. No adventurer information.
So that's progress.
A good leader has the insight to find good counsel. As a war reaches its end, there is one who doesn't advise for the city's prosperity. Find him and strike him down.
Okay, someone who does not advise for the city's prosperity. And the real question is, who of these ones is it? Sweetstone's features? Sweetstone's... Wait, what? Mephistopheles Tiefling? Okay. Already looks a little bit, Suelto a human? And what about this one? A wood elf. So, are we just going to kill the Tiefling for some reason? Someone who is not advised for the prosperity of the... Let's just recap that again.
Strike down the advisor who would lead the city to ruin.
Now the real question is, what advice gets the city to ruin, right? Usually it's something that focuses on war all the time. So there are flying books around. Stedds, Virtues of Union. So you are supposed to find books. Good. That's Stedds Book of Unions. Unions might be good, but I'm not really a fan of it either.
Hold still, will you?
Okay. That book will come up there.
Very well.
The Ethics of War.
Hold still, will you?
Okay. Why doesn't that work?
Hold still, will you?
Okay, if I were to just kill it, what would happen? It would probably not be a good idea to just destroy a book that says something war, right? Let's pick that one up. And then we have a little bit of a reading session after. Most of it is already read, so I just have to ask my brain again for advice. Hopefully it has good answers. Oh boy. A catalogue of books. So, and what do we do? Wait, which one is it? Suelto's Ethics of War. So Suelto is the war guy. Right click and attack. Really now? Can't really throw anything. It's not moving! It's attack. What the? There you go. Good. So we destroyed Suelto's thingy of wool, whatever. I think this is not what you have to do. Or did we do? No, we didn't. Okay. Let's see. I do not know when I used the save the last time around. Questions upon questions upon questions. Where have I saved before? Somewhere in the cave? Maybe before picking up any of those books? Okay, it's still going around, which is good. So, right click and... You cannot pick... Wait.
No time to rest.
Right click. You cannot...
Here goes nothing.
I can pick it and I can throw it.
Making me sweat. Time for a natter. Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose.
My mind. And... hold still, will you? Hold still, will you?
Okay, so the idea is to...
Time for a chat.
Slippery little blighter.
Let's get going.
get a sleight of hand check going. Okay.
I crave blood.
That's not good.
Must speak.
Okay, one of them successfully gets it, which is nice. The thing is, I do not know how often you can do this, trying to get the roll correct or whatever. But now we got it. That one goes to Carla. Carla is carrying everything, and then we are going to read once we have all of those books. So let's see. Right click and talk.
Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose.
Still not going to work.
Hold still, will you?
That's weird.
Slippery little blighter.
Action, not reaction. I will be heard. Almost. Not quite. Almost. Not quite. Don't be shy. Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose. If you insist. Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose. Engineer. Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose. Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose.
Bludgeoning damage, great.
Come on! Won't hurt you on purpose. Almost, but not quite.
Oh, throwing it on the ground is a good idea.
Go for a good meal.
Interesting. Amaps Memoirs. Good. Let's pick that one up. So, Balduran's found a city. I got that one. The thing is, this seems to be one of the more prominent ones.
Hey!
Okay, then we have like another butterfly down here. Then we have to figure out who of those to vanquish. Alright. So, time for us to do a little bit of reading now. We got all of the good books. That's not it. Queen of Ravens, where is it? Amaps Memories. Suelto's Ethics of War. Queen of Kingpins, Folly, all the story, no. Oh wait,
Let's move.
I got that book. Stedds Virtues. Okay, so that one goes to Carla.
Don't burn yourself.
There. Okay, so those are the free ones. I'm gonna look into them later. The other stuff I already read, which is good. The 5-Year War, a Diplomat's Record. Oh. The 5-Year War by Torwin Bass. The war was, in truth, nothing short of a tragedy. It began as a mild altercation between the sanguine son of the Aelio and Vida families regarding, if you can believe it, the proper ownership of a sheep farm. Over the course of 3 seasons, full-blown conflict had erupted between Baldur's Gate and Victon, a pointless war, leaving both cities with nothing but 1,000 youthful corpses to show for it. Okay, so war is not a good idea. What else? Queen of Kingpins. Seems the Flaming Fist mercenary company has compiled a great deal of information on Nine Fingers and a crew known as the Guild. Some heavy named Tusgrunt guardian guarding some entrance the Fists are intrigued by. In fact, a very detailed account of the Guild's muscle and, you know, a tide of derision from the Fist. Evidently, they don't find Tusgrunt and criminals like him too bright. Not the sharpest scalpel in the surgeon's kit. But Nine Fingers? Of her they write in sullen, fearful tones. Why? Queen of Ravens. What's that one? Oh, it's a big one. Mistress of Life and Death. The journey killed her. Yada yada. Dwarven Taxonomy. This species taxonomy by Reginald Cultural Eavesdropper Wyll gives a full and complete categorization of dwarves, from the gust winkled pale Arctic dwarves to the tanned great Riften gold dwarves, to the once enslaved Durga, to the tall and gregarious shield dwarves, to the undark dwelling Urdunir, to the brilliantly adaptive and culturally rich wild dwarves living in the jungles of Chult. Right. And Balduran's found a city. This text reads its subject on Balduran, a sailor of exquisite renown who founded the city of Baldur's Gate many years ago. The prose is colourful, but a little too self-satisfied around the edges, and the novel would be unremarkable but for one small entry about halfway through. Balduran claimed a guardian and friend, unsure. Bright were Unsure's scales, and brighter still his breath. Yet after betrayal, too piercing to recount, here in worthy detail, Unsure fled beneath the stone, thereby changing the name of the region he now slumbers under to match his draconic lineage. Like Wyll, whatever. Makes sense. But some betrayal. Who got betrayed and why? That's actually kind of interesting. So. Suelto's ethics of war. That may not be a good thing. So let's just start with Amaps' memories. Let's see. My life has been a long succession of pleasures. To see my town take to my ideas and seize legal discrimination of local orcs. To see my fights against horrid living conditions in city factories take off. To have the chance to see a new generation take to these ideas of a better, kinder, fairer, intelligent world and run with it to new reaches of the continent. It was not a life without struggle, however, and I shall regret its failures. My old friend Suelto comes to mind, who adopted such cruel ideologies later in life. I will forever console myself in the idea that such a brilliant mind would only conceive such theories under the strain of exile and the promise of reinstatement as she ultimately was. Okay. So, Amap might be a good dude. Okay. Where's the thing with the war? 5-year war. Okay. Diplomat's record. By whom? Oh, Aelio and Vida families. Aelio. Amap? No. Stedds virtue? Christina Suelto. Oh, whatever. Stedds virtues of unions. The Virtues of Unions by Alvin Stedd. It is quite obvious that larger kingdoms offer benefits to all people within. As a kingdom grows, so does its fields, its populace, and its economy. A few charred corpses is a worthy sacrifice. If a dragon offers to share its hoard, after all, so too should you seek union, however imperfect. Should a powerful kingdom march its army on your borders, some friction is inevitable, of course. Citizens rights might erode, for instance, but such lesser issues will be sanded down by the march of time, such as the price of peace. Ooh, doesn't sound too good, does it? Not a real fan of unions, I say. Because you're actually giving away freedom. Well, you are sharing your hoard with others, but are you really? So, Suelto's Ethics of War, a treatise by Christina Suelto proposing harsh retaliation against political adversaries. My colleague Amaps proposes fair rules of engagement at times of war and forgiveness upon victory. Are we to spare our enemies then, once they have fallen to our might? Are we to put all hatred behind us when surrender is offered? Indeed not. For what shall we do once our opponent gathers new armies and masses them once again along our borders? We shall wage another war and count the lives snuffed out by our own magnanimity. Magnanimity. Once an enemy kingdom is conquered, it must be razed to the ground. Only then can we be free of its spectre. It is harsh, but there is some truth to it. Okay, so, but in order of worseness, let's say, right? Which one of those would be the least nice? Suelto's Ethics of War, which basically ends up in mass murder. Then we have Stedds Virtues of Unions, which is a little bit of sharing, well, lost freedom, right? And Amaps Memoirs, who... It's kind of interesting, actually, that he's just writing about Suelto. Okay, he's actually working for some kind of whatever idea. So the Amaps might be the best one of them all. But Suelto's Ethics of War, they kind of make sense, because the idea is you are basically frightened by whatever is still living in the area of your last conquest. Meaning that if the people are still alive after you've conquered the place, they might be resentful towards you or the people coming in now or whatever. The new rulers, let's say. And the only thing, if you are following up in this kind of war scenario, is to actually get rid of all of those people. Which is not a good thing. In this case, because it piles up an awful lot of bodies, and then you have to get people there again. In an economic sense, it gets rid of productivity, an awful lot of possible productivity, and everybody else is gonna be bad. Okay, so Suelto is interestingly, Amaps, the Mephistopheles tiefling, right, is the good guy. Followed by Stedd. No, wait a minute. Let's just not make any mistakes here. Suelto's Ethics of War, yes. So, followed by Stedd, who is a little bit of Union elf, whatever. And then we have Suelto, who is very, 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 very aggressive. Whatever. We're just going to attack Suelto and hope that this is worthwhile. But does Wyll have anything to say about that?
You've got something to say?
You had an idea about the inside trial, yes?
Yes. Suelto's ethic of war would lead to endless conflict. No city could survive it. Suelto is the one you should strike.
And there we got our solution. An insightful decision. The Tree of Peace bore lasting fruit. Proceed. That was easy. The thing is, you can read the books. You could also just have Wyll in your team, and he can give you proper advice, which means he really is The Blade of Frontier. The hero that the city deserves. Okay. And that was number 2. The inside. Next up will be strategy. And at the end, a little bit of conquest. But before we are going to enter the strategic dungeon domain thingy, gonna make a little cut in here. Like, the thing is, the inside thingy was extremely quick, whereas I got again, I'm hammering on to that whole justice thingy, because inside was a little bit tricky getting all of the books right? Like catching the books. That was the most tricky thing about it. But yeah, what you have to do is like, yeah, what is it that you have to do? You have to use like turn-based mode, this one, and then you have to use the like right-click and then throw mechanic on the books. This one seemed to work for some reason. Yeah, the other way would be to succeed a sleight of hand check, but not all of the characters actually got the opportunity to, which was weird. Yeah, some of them worked. The first book just worked without issues. I don't know why. Maybe I succeeded a sleight of hand check, whatever. But yeah, sleight of hand, trying to catch a flying book in midair. Harry Potter kind of thing. But that's pretty much the most tricky part about it. So anyway, as I said, try the throw thingy. Try to not damage the book too much, and save scum a little bit before, just to make sure, because it's really tricky. The other way would be to kind of knock it down, or maybe ensnare it somehow, if that's even possible. The other way would be to use a magic hand? I don't know. Anything that... or telekinesis, maybe. No. Or maybe throwing stuff at the book. That could also work. Whatever. Throwing the book itself, that's the thing that could work. Well, that did for me. So, that's it, this episode, which was a very short one. Until next time, then. Like and subscribe, of course, and ta-ta.